And then we experience undue levels, disproportionate levels of scrutiny. And there's very high expectation of proper, almost perfect behavior on the side of female politicians. And we don't seem to hold male politicians to the same levels of accountability. Today, if you look at the statistics of African nations that are doing well in terms of parity in their national assemblies, in the top 10, 15 countries, Ghana is not represented, unfortunately. Ghana is not represented. We're talking about Rwanda now with 61% of women in their national assembly. South Africa follows. Senegal, Mozambique even are all doing beyond the 30% minimum benchmark set by the United Nations. And the statistics from the Interparliamentary Union states that the general average of women representation in National Assembly stands at 26.9%. Ghana, we are 14.5%. Of a parliament of 276, we have 41 women. I think that it is very, very sad in regards to the fact that we are supposed to be majority. So there are huge underrepresentations. The gender minister was here. I'm sure she mentioned about the passage of the affirmative action law and the campaigns we're about to undertake to see to increasing the numbers. But the challenges are two. The numbers can increase if more women participate in elective politics for those positions that are mostly elective, like coming into parliament, like going into the local assembly through the elective route. The second is through appointments, which requires goodwill and commitment from the appointing authority, say the president of the day. In the first term of President John Dramani Mahama, he made at least a target of 29%. So we're just 1% shy of hitting the 30% that even Ghanaian political parties had promised, to the people of Ghana. But this regime, we are yet to meet the 30%, and it is recognized. We are assured by the gender minister that hopefully by next year, we should 2026, which is actually the target we have set for ourselves in our affirmative action law, to meet the minimum 30%. So the hope is that by next year, because appointments are still ongoing, we should be able to increase our current numbers to at least 30%. What is good so far with the profile of appointments done under His Excellency's government is the intentionality to look at spaces and ministries, department, agencies that previously never had a female. So to break the glass ceilings in those areas. I think you all know that as for the biggest glass ceiling, we have already achieved that under this current government. What is that one? I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you. What is her name? Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman. 68 years of our independence. It is only now that Ghana can boast proudly of having a female vice president. I think we deserve a round of applause for that. It is symbolic, not yet transformational. It can only become transformational if you and I, all of us, recognize that if Nana Jane can achieve it, you too can achieve it. The second point, I think going back to the point about being intentional with the appointments. So today we have CEOs of agencies that have never been led by women before. We have deputy CEOs that of agencies that have never seen female appointments before. We have a few ministries that have women that have never had women leaders before. What the president wants to do is to tell all of us that if we're able to break new glass ceilings, it means the sky is our launch pad. So we require greater political commitment. That is a fact. And even as a member of the NDC, we continue to advocate that the party must reflect its diversity and membership. If you look at the party level, right from branch to national, you can literally count the number of women executives at the party level even on your fingertips. The ones you are most likely to have for sure are the women organizers. And this is for all political parties. Sometimes treasurers, those traditional roles that we believe women are good at. But general secretary, vice chair, chairperson, they are all great opportunities that are available. What are the barriers to entry? We all here know, because we can literally say what the barriers are, because we've sat through too many conferences, so we do know the barriers to entry. But I want to suggest what I believe is the most important barrier we must overcome: the barrier of the self. Because all else would not matter if personally we don't believe that we can do it. Because even with appointments, you appoint women and they say they have to go and discuss with their husbands. And if the husbands don't accept, they turn down their appointment. And that is the truth that we must be willing to confront. Yeah. So we need to overcome the barrier of self-doubt, even before we think of the other things. Our family support, which is important, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your parents, whether it's your husband, you do need that kind of foundational support if you're to grow and survive in politics. And the rest, the financial, the patriarchy, the social expectations, all of them, with courage you can overcome. So as you overcome your personal barriers, think of courage. Because as I read some time ago, courage is the most important of all virtues. Without courage, you cannot practice any other virtue consistently. So let us have the courage to step into the ring and to overcome the challenges, because challenges will always be parts of our lives. But there's a long way to go in attaining parity in politics.
Thank you very much, Shamima. Thank you. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you very much for all your contribution. And so we move to barriers, engineering. I believe some engineers drop out along the way. What are some of the reasons? And we need to know what are the barriers and how do we overcome them?
Barriers. It starts from school. Already taking up STEM courses is a bit of, mindset of people that STEM courses are for the male. It's difficult to do mathematics, difficult to do physics as a woman. So it starts from school. Then if you're able to move on to the higher education, transition from uni to the workforce is also a challenge, because sometimes we don't get role models, we don't get mentors to help you transition from school to the workforce. There's also workplace culture, because we predominantly see engineering as a male-dominated area. So sometimes the culture in the workplace settings will sideline or will undermine the intellectual abilities of the female engineer, and therefore dropouts, or not even venture at all, and rather would venture into other. And because we are good with maths, no doubt about that, we tend to fit in any industry we decide to. But then practicing it is quite difficult. Some of them too is the physical nature of our built as women. We also have a barrier of balancing work and the family. Is one of the major, especially in mid-career, balancing work and balancing family life without any policy support is quite difficult. I am fortunate to work in a company that takes family at heart, it puts family at heart, so we'll be able to rise through the, because they will support, there are policies to support you as a woman to function as an engineer. And then also, there's this, so how should I put it? Confidence, as she said, at a point people are not able to rise to the top because some of them are not able to assert themselves properly. And then also there's stagnation when it comes to promotion. So these are some barriers. So we have few women in leadership, engineering leadership. We have few women taking huge infrastructure projects because they usually will sideline you or based on whatever. I started a career in a company where initially they didn't have females. And the few of us that entered at the early stages decided to hold the door so that others can come in. And I can say that over the period, they've seen what we can do. And let's say, even at the management level, we are about 40% women. So these systemic things are there, but then we need to work on them. So these are challenges that actually affect a lot of women in engineering. So we are not able to take that leadership roles too. Yeah.
So what are some of the, what can we do as women to overcome some of these barriers in engineering?
First of all, policies in workplaces, which we advocate, and Ghana Institute of Engineers has given the women engineering rules to bring out certain policies that can help the engineering industry so that women can thrive. We need structured mentorship and sponsorship. You see, it's different just mentoring people, but we need sponsorship. A typical example is ECG. The women wing there have decided to structure their mentoring in such a way that when you want to apply, if maybe you are doing service that you want to apply, they actually groom you. They actually sponsor you till you are, lack of better word, good enough to go for an interview and be taken. So, structured mentorship and sponsorship. Policies that support workplace and then structured pipelines that will help women go to the higher level. There should be clear path of progress in whatever, which field of engineering you are in, so that we could attain leadership level. So these are some of the things we can do to help the situation.
So the same question goes to you, Christine. In the legal field, what are some of the barriers? How do we overcome the barriers?
So I think that in terms of the barriers, they kind of cut across, but maybe just to make sense of it with legal examples. So when Naki was talking, I was thinking of myself as a young aspiring or a young lawyer, the kind of things I was able to do. And now that I've gone on to get married, to have children, how it has impacted me in the sort of ways I dream, etc., etc. And the very first thing I would say is that there's a stereotype as well, what women can do, what women cannot do. And so even before you are talking about your ambitions, that this is where I want to go, this is how far I want to do. I remember those times I'll tell people that I want to do this, I want to do that, then they'll be like, but you're a woman. And so, just to tie back to what Shamima said, there's that mindset issue that is also impacted by the stereotype in the system, the patriarchy that exists within. I also remember a court appearance where my client came and just realized that it was a woman that was going to defend him. And you could see the disappointment in his face that, oh, I thought that I'm going to get somebody who is, masculine, who is going to fight for me, because this whole essence of fighting in the courtroom has a look and it's not female. And if it wasn't a mindset issue where I'd sort of programmed in my mind that this is something I can do, this is something that is within my ability to do, it could have really shut me down at that point. And the win that I had sort of did some justice for me, because again, it ties into what the minister was saying, that nobody's doing you a favor. You're there because you do qualify to be there and you're the right person to be there. And when you come also into the work culture, when you've had children, when you've gotten married, then again, institutionally, there's certain things that have to be done for us to also make us comfortable And again, I say that it's supposed to be intentional because there's bias in the system already. I remember at a point in a law firm when my head of chambers was asking me, what time are you going home today? And in my mind, I was wondering why he was asking me, because closing time was 5:30. But of course, there was an unsaid or silent rule that you don't leave before your boss leaves. And then he has his bedroom and chambers. So I'm thinking, what time am I going to leave? I mean, I have children to get to, I have a husband to get to. So you see the way in terms of being flexible, in terms of even the opportunities and the way that we can do things we should also be intentional about it, because if not, it impacts the kind of work that we do. So as for the barriers, I think that they play out in different ways, but because these exist, they make it really difficult. Even if you're dreaming and you're saying, this is where I want to get to, certain things will hold you down. That's why there's a push that in every law firm, I think the Judicial Service has adopted the policy, the gender policy, and we also see the strides in there. But we also push that in law firms as well, because there's this unconscious bias. There should be gender policies that are actually intentional for the way we address these sort of biases, so that the promotion pathways should be transparent. We should know how clients are being sourced. My boss should not come and tell me that, oh, I have a big client, so dress well because you're a female, and I'll be preferred for that brief only to get the client in, and then when the big briefs come in, somehow a male takes over. And those things they objectify, and it feeds into the whole idea of sexual harassment. And sometimes people don't know that they are doing that. But that's what I talk about, the unconscious bias that exists in there. So these are things we have to look at and sort of be able to overcome them.
Thank you very much, Christine. So, Angela, in your earlier presentation, you talked about your barriers, and what do you think we should do going forward as women?
In general?
In general, your sector, and then in general.
I think there are 2 points. I think if I talk about myself as a tech leader in industry, we look very much so to policy, but also education. So we look to our sisters in all the universities and even below that to encourage the pipeline. Because if I talk about MTN, 42% of all the chiefs, the senior managers reporting into the CEO are female, which is great on the face of it. But then it drops off dramatically the further down you go. Trying to find engineers, RF planning engineers, mechanical engineers, telco engineers, people that did computer science. We can't find them. Luckily, I can see Pearl here, engineer Pearl. Hi. I could see Kate as well. Hi, Kate, engineer Kate. But you have to be deliberate about them. And so, whilst you might have sponsorship at the top, we cannot source for potential or qualified females to take up some of those rights to replace ourselves. So there is an issue of why are women, girls choosing to go into other areas instead of going into tech. And then you mentioned they don't see people that look like them now, like the leadership roles. Around the age of going out of school and into work, you start thinking about your own self-actualizing, you're getting married, you're distracted by men or not. And these things are natural, but they affect people in different ways. That's why policy within organizations work. So that when you have children, you have an enabling environment. Come back to when you're doing, I used to look after 600 engineers, field engineers. That was an enormous task for a woman female businesses and entrepreneurs. All of these things are here to try and help support female entrepreneurs where they may not have formal infrastructure to support them.
Thank you very much for that, Angela. And your final words, what do you think the future holds for us women? Just in a single sentence.
Of being tired, as one American activist put it, of being tired. Unless we get to the point where we are collectively tired about our lot, I don't think we will collectively do what it takes to achieve the transformation that is so close to us within our lifetime. And please, when women contest elections, try and vote for them. That is the only way we will increase the numbers. Thank you very much. Just one sentence. I understand we are out of time.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I want to say that there's hope for engineering because I see a lot of confident young girls taking up engineering courses and knowing that there's a
wine, helping them through the journey. So there's hope for the future. There's be more inclusive engineering and more impactful engineering.
Thank you very much. There's hope.
I'm also hopeful. In the legal field, when I think of all the benchmarks, I think women have. So when I think of Chief Justice, I know you can become a Chief Justice because we had a woman Chief Justice. You think of Attorney General Betty Modu-Drusu. You think of that as well. You think of Ghana Bar Association presidents. So I think there is hope and there is more for young women to aspire to. And I think the ultimate is to have a woman president. So we push for that as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
For me, everyone said hope. I concur, hope. I think that the entrepreneurial female base is a wonderful start. So I think that the future is bright. So use your opportunities where you can and also rely on each other.
Thank you very much for all that you have shared with us today. Organizers, thank you very much. I know we have exceeded our time, but we are grateful for this. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
I think we can do better. Please, yeah, exactly. Wow, fantastic. Looks like we all have hope. Do you have hope? Oh, the yes is like you don't have. Yes. Please clap as they go, We all have hope. Wow. Please keep clapping, keep clapping. Okay, so some of us had tea and coffee. We're going to go to the spotlight speaker session now, and then, oh yeah, there we go, it works. So we're going to invite Professor Lydia Aziato to tell us where we are from an academic lens. So she's the Vice Chancellor, University of Health and Allied Sciences. She's the first female Vice Chancellor of UHAS and the first nurse professor, keep clapping, I think we should do better, in Ghana and West Africa. She's an acclaimed nurse scholar, researcher, and leader with over 100 publications. I need to say that with lots of ways. 100. Wow. Extensive governance experience and global recognition for her contributions to nursing and women's health. So please let's keep clapping as I swap my slides for hers.
Thank you very much. As she posts the slides, I want to acknowledge the founder and all the helpers who made her dream a reality. When you have a dream and you don't have helpers, it takes many, many years. If you're not lucky, it won't happen at all. So all the people who have helped her, I say thank you on her behalf. I came here for two reasons. I came here because I believe in tomorrow, and I also believe in beginnings. Because if you know me well, I'm first for a lot of things. First in the family to go to university, first in the family to buy a car, first in the family to build a house. So I believe that next year or the next time this conference will be held will not be this number. It will grow. And I also believe in our colleagues, sisters and brothers in the diaspora who want to come back and give back. That's why I'm here. But I will leave after my presentation because I have another meeting. It's currently ongoing anyway, but with technology I'll join after, so I will leave you. But I entreat all of you to stay put and engage effectively to the end of the program. So I'll go through these things. I'll have a conversation. It's not a lecture. I believe that I have to have a conversation. I was chatting my daughter, who is first year law school, going to second year. I was saying, I should have come with her, but unfortunately, I'm not going to go back today. So next time, I'll come with her. When I saw the lawyer with triple bar, I said, my daughter should be triple bar. Anyway, I'm just praying. So the reality, where are we? I've heard the statistics, but majority are still down there, pushing very, very, very hard to enter the spaces that we are not there now. I have a colleague who tried the primaries twice and didn't win. Now all her resources are gone. Our politics in Ghana is too money-driven. Said I have what it takes to do what I say I will do. You vote for me. But Ghana, our politics has become, Madam, tell them, the electorates, our thinking is. And so when I take money from her to support me, when I come, even when I win, I need to sort her out because I owe her. And that has compounded the problem. I'm just saying this because until we become economically powerful, the numbers will continue to be the way it is because the electorates are demanding too much. That's my observation. So one of the speakers mentioned the glass ceiling concept already. And this concept is not new. It is that barrier that you cannot see, whether you like it or not. The fact that you are a woman. First of all, how are you going on maternity leave? Some of your dysmenorrhea is too bad, so you can't even stand. Will you go off because of this menstrual pain? For some of us, the way they brought us up, the socialization, put our mindset somewhere that when you are married, your husband is supposed to take care of you and the children and the family. Who said that? What book? Where did you see it? So the traditional, historical upbringing of the female, for me, is wrong. It's a partnership, okay? If I'm not married, I should be able to take care of myself. So when I'm married, we take care of the family together. Even if you don't want to, I should be able to do that. And the fact that we're not brought up to look for the extra 1 cedi or extra money is also wrong. Nobody lives on the salary. If you are the work you are doing, somebody call my day job, it's not 24/7, okay? And so, what do you do with the other time? I am not an entrepreneur, but before I became vice chancellor, I was doing other things. I was doing a lot of things. From the very beginning I started, I was doing extra classes in the house. I used to live in Medina, so I spoke to the head of the preparatory school at Zongo Junction. Weekend, I meet students there, prepare them for licensing exam. So it is not only when you sell something, okay, you do a product like physical that you call entrepreneur. Anything that you do that can give you extra income, I call it entrepreneurial. So you must brand it. You must make it so that people will desire that thing that can give you extra money. And that is what the woman makes. So by the time you are going into active politics, you don't have money. You don't have the money that can win that is the truth. I'm just being sincere. So at the end of the day, because of that barrier, we do not get to the spaces that we have to get to, and then we are retiring. 60 years is not far. So within the academic environment, some statistics have come up in different sectors. I also want to tell the CEO that when I look at the mission, I didn't see health, entrepreneur, law, engineer. You get sick, who takes care of you? Bring health in so that we can also be on the table, because there are few women leaders within the health space also. So generally, one member said, our science, our maths is not good. I'll tell my story along the line, so let me not go there. So at the end of the day, the statistics as is still can be better. But within the academic space, I'm supposed to look at it from those of us in the academic space. Women are coming up, okay? So when you look at the top 10 universities this year, the data shows that a lot of these known high-rated universities are led by women. You can check it online, and it's very, very good. Now, I was surprised that as we speak, the top 3 universities ranked are also led by women. Yeah, I mean, the evidence, if you don't want to clap, don't clap. If you clap, to clap for us. The evidence for the Alpha Dopa Scientific Index ranking for 84 tertiary institutions in Ghana place Kwame Nkrumah, University of Ghana first, Kwame Nkrumah University second, and UHAS third. And all of us, the 3 women, the 3 musketeers, our universities are ranked 1, 2, 3. And of course, now, Rita became VC before Nanaba and myself. But I was even surprised that it is like this. So it means that if you give us the mandate, like our sister said, vote for the woman. Vote for the competent woman, okay? Vote for the woman who can deliver. So when she makes the mark, another woman can be given the space. I don't believe in vote for the woman, no. I believe in vote for the competent woman, so we can leave our mark. And when we don't have women at the top, okay, we kill the initiative for the young ones because they don't see themselves going up there. So some of them will leave the discipline that they find themselves in. You see, whether you like it or not, somebody up there, same sex, you desire to be like the person. So when I got the nod as Vice Chancellor for UHAS, the first person I went to see, we had a conversation for almost 2 hours, is our current Vice President. because she was the first female vice chancellor in Ghana. So if she has walked that path, what were some of the challenges? How did she navigate the patriarchal environment of universities? How did she cope? So I went to have a conversation with her, and I still do anyway, to make sure that I can lean on somebody. And then the two ladies that were already in the space, Nanaba and Rita, it is important that the high-profile person in that discipline avails herself to motivate the younger ones. You see, there can only be one answer. When you have women who have made it, I have my money, I have my job, it doesn't mean that I'm proud, no. It doesn't mean that I suddenly become the person who cannot listen, who cannot respect. You have to. That person who, I saw beautiful ladies coming in. Good. Very intelligent. I can see it from your face that you are intelligent. Good. But you have to mix it with the cultural ethos of our land, okay? So the fact that you are a leader or you become high profile in a discipline, you still have to ensure that you balance yourself to fit the cultural expectations. I'm being sincere. So another person will come and stand here and say, gender equality, inequality. No, we are in Africa, we are in Ghana. We have to be accepted. You have to get the people believing in you and doing what is supposed to be done for the organization you are leading to go on. So it becomes suddenly very proud, very egoistic. Hey, you won't survive. You ask anybody who is up there, you won't survive, okay? So it is time, the young ones, that you don't suddenly leave what is the definition of a woman, let's say in the church, in the mosque, in the family space. So I am married to a Muslim. I am married to a traditional leader. I have other stepchildren around me, other women. But I am me, okay? I am me. I am here. So at the end of the day, if your family is not peaceful, you don't have the peace of mind to deliver at the workplace. You go and try it. You see that you won't meet your targets, and then your work becomes some way. Anyway, in the panel discussion, some of these issues came up. If you have to ask your spouse before you accept a position, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong. You don't ask, you discuss. So with this thing that I'm going to do, how do we now realign, rebalance, navigate? You don't go and ask for permission. No. It's not done like that. Okay? And then these others, my colleagues who spoke earlier, said something. So let's go on. I don't want to repeat what has been said. But if the slides will be shared with participants, please take the pictures off before you share it. These are personal pictures. So I want to take two of these points here. When we have people, okay, they do things because they believe that they can do it, they have the skills. So the CEO and partners, maybe a 2-day event, one day should train the skill set of breaking that ceiling. So it is important that we train our girls, our young ladies, so they can be confident. Their family didn't prepare them. The SSS University, they are interested in their grade to get their GPA this. After that, they are just lost, okay? So we need to train them so they can take responsibility when they are given and do it right. The right quality is assured. they can get the right network. As you are here, I was saying the triple bar, I want to take her number, so I give it to my daughter, and she can. You need to do networking when you have such opportunities. So I'm a nurse, okay? I'm a nurse. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a pharmacist. I'm a nurse. How come since independence, I became the first nurse ever to become professor? When we say professor, so we have associate professor and professor. Since independence, the university level nursing started way back in 1963 at the University of Ghana. 63 to 2021, when my appointment came up, before we had the first nurse ever becoming not vice chancellor or professor. Now, our training trains us to care for the sick, not to research or publish. And we have a lot of, shall I say, policy, the law, you take the Ghana Health Service law, the Director General can only be a doctor, not a nurse. All those things, I don't want to go there. We also didn't have people mentoring people and all that. Now, if we say, where are we now? Where are we now? We are where we are because people are, like Shamima said, they don't have the right orientation of their mind. They are not doing the extra thing they have to do to get to where they are. So I thought that I should share with you how I made it. Maybe you can learn one or two things and also make it in your field. So my parents were peasant farmers. My mother never went to school. My dad dropped out very early because my grandfather became blind, so he had to take care of the family. I grew up in a one-man village, the family village, not a town, not a village town. Okay. So this is the village. You have to walk several before you find the next village in the eastern region. So the old system, I wrote the common entrance, Form 2, I passed. My dad, I was too tiny. I wasn't like this before, I was just tiny. And then Form 3, I wrote again, and then my brothers impressed on my dad, and I went to school on the Cocoa Board scholarship. So my father was paying only PTA dues and those things, no school fees. But I was a day student. A lot of things happened during that time that I can pick, but we don't have enough time. So I'll just say that I used to live in Batum, those of you who know Kufuria, and walk to Efijasi, Ganas. I was working 1 to 5. Anyway, that's a story for another day. But after that, I went to the nursing training college after 6th form. So O-level, I did very well. I went to the 6th form, same school. But A-level results, I got F in physics and chemistry, F. So the nursing training college, you can go with your O-level. So after the national service, those of you who listened to me on TV3 recently, Today's Woman, I think I shared bits and pieces of this. So I went to the nursing training college. I did very well, a distinction in almost all the subjects except one. And so I was given the opportunity to go to university on study leave with pay a year after school. I also graduated with the highest GPA in my class, 2001. And then I did my master's, same in nursing. I did oncology nursing specialization. And then the story started. Now, somebody will say that I want to leave this discipline because A, B, C, D. When you don't have enough people or the circumstances are not optimal, that is where you stay and rather shine, okay? But if you move and move, I mean, what are you looking for? You stay there and identify your niche and shine. You'll be identified earlier than joining the masses, okay? So, anyway, let me say something about the people you see around me before I go on. So the one down there is the 2001 level 400 baby. when I was in the university, I was already a nurse, okay? So I met my husband on campus, I got pregnant, So I'm only telling you the reality, okay? Where are we now? We are where we are because some people are in my situation. So this one is a 2001, a 2000 boy, so level 400, I had him and finished. And then the one here is the one in the law school, 2007 one, and the last one is the 2010 one, the PhD one. So this one, the girl here was my master's baby, my undergraduate baby, and my PhD baby. I'll tell you stories about them. So when you have a master's and you go and start a PhD, you would think that, oh, first class girl or lady, you will make it. Life is not that straight, okay? I'm telling you that life is not that straight. Don't just believe that you can go on. You may go and have a child with problems. You may go and have some health challenges. I won't want to go there. So my PhD journey was turbulent. The first attempt at the University of Glamorgan, now University of South Wales, didn't go well. So I had to come back to work, heavily pregnant with the last baby I showed you, and took my maternity leave. And then after the baby, I took a loan myself. I didn't ask anybody for permission. I took a loan, and then I went to the University of the Western Cape in South Africa. Within 2 years, I had my PhD. Now, in this story, I have published a paper. It's open access. If you Google my name, Lydia Aziato, just add PhD experience. A paper will pop up. Download it, the young ones, please. Download it this evening. Take your time and read it. I've shared how I got it wrong the first time, and the strategies I used to make it right the second time. Okay, so that is online. And so at the end of the day, my mom, I left, so again, where are we? When I was leaving for the UK, I had a second child, the one I showed you, the big one. And so my mother was alive then, and I had a help, so I was fine. I left them. And when I went also, because I was a nurse, I was able to work in the nursing home, so I started my building then. So I made some money to continue the building to, I admired story building, so I said I was build a story building. So I decked it before I came back. Anyway, so after a year when I decided to stop the works more and concentrate on the reason why I went to the UK, I lost my mother. So I had to come back. And then I took 3 months. After I took another 3 months, I got somebody, a person, I wanted to try the person to see whether the person would take care of the children. It wasn't going well. So at the end, I had to come back. Now, this is a very important part of the whole story because I've seen women, mothers, who left their children and the carers didn't care for them well, and they became addicts, they became something else. So for me, my children are number one, okay? The children are number one, but I don't let them be number one to delay my career also. So along the line, my son and my daughter became part of my work. My boy is very good at speeches, so if this was a keynote address, he would have edited it and moved things around. My daughter's English is at the top, so she'll edit the grammar and all that. And both of them, I trained them to, I do qualitative research, so I trained them to transcribe. I trained the boy to use the NVivo to help me manage the data, so I pulled them along, okay? So at the end of the day, when I went back, the UK, you have to do an assessment before they move you on. It didn't go well. And then my father also passed. And then I got pregnant again. I mean, those stories are there online. But how did I suddenly become the first professor? Somebody who got FF in physics and chemistry. Somebody who didn't pass her first attempt of PhD. How did you become the first nurse professor? And how did you also become a vice chancellor? So I had to reflect. During the maternity leave, when I came back from the UK, I took maternity because I was pregnant with the last child. Had to do a lot of reflections and pick the lessons that made it wrong. And so if you are here, some of you are too spiritual. Everything you say is your family, is your... no, it's you, okay? Everything that happens, take the responsibility, it's you. So I identified a lot of lessons that I could make right, okay? So I realized that my writing skills were not good, even after my master's. The UK professor will write run-on sentence, comma place. Oh, I tried about 20 pages. How can you be, so in my mind, how can you be this racist? So my pastor, I'll call him, Pastor, you know, in the name of Jesus. This is not in the name of Jesus business. So anyway, so I had to do something about my writing. I also thought that at that time, I bottled things in me. When you are like that, you don't have space in your head. You can't think on your feet. You can't do extempo. You can't answer questions well. So I had to learn how to release emotions, forgive as much as I can, so that I can have space. Software issues, I mentioned it already. So after the reflections from the previous slide, so if you take the pictures off, please share with the young ones so they can look at it later. I thought that me, first class, me, the one who got all the distinction, how can I be a failure? It is not possible. Okay, so I had to swallow that concept of that I am not a failure. I went to school on Get Fund Scholarship. I won't cause financial loss to this nation, Ghana. I will not become an embarrassment to my family and friends, my profession, never. So I took decisions. That is where I decided to go for the loan, okay? So it's not somebody advising me to go for the loan. And so I got a professor in the University of Western Cape. I met at a conference some time back. And when I discussed my issues, I told him that I'm not a beginner PhD. Even though I was working, I still went through all the training, everything. So I still knew something. So we discussed, and then the topic changed a little, and then I started with full strength. And then I finished within the 2 years that I mentioned. Now, I went through these slides that I won't go through all of them, the things that I did to finish in 2 years. So I was teaching. I had gone back to the University of Ghana then. I was teaching. So I lobbied for early morning lectures, 7:30, so that I can have the rest of the day. If I see that the content is dragging, I talk to the students to agree to a weekend class so I can finish the course outline early. I was involving my graduate students to help me mark the IAs and stuff like that. I didn't have any social life, unless the thing is very, very, very close. Now, if I go to church, I know the time they close. You are dragging, I take my car and I leave. And so I was not sitting in my office because talking, I don't have time for that. And so I found a space in the campus there. I also found a space at UPSA because I lived around that place, New Road. So Sunday, weekend, sometimes I go to UPSA and I join the students as if I'm part of them, but I'm not part of them. I did all that. I also made sure that I would submit very good work. So I went as low as my child's English teacher to learn how to write proper sentences. Spoken English is different from written academic work, okay? So I went to the linguistics department, Professor Sarah Alemna. There's one gentleman at KNUST, I think he's the public affairs director, Norris. They all helped. That time he was in Accra. I went to them to learn how to write properly. Okay? So I did all that. And then my supervisor, I had to use different means to get feedback from him. When the thing is delaying, maybe what I am doing, he didn't do that during his PhD, or that is not his area. So I booked time to go through and bring the references that support what I am doing, ABC. I was okay, let's go on. Let's go on. So if you are stingy also, it won't help. Very early in my life, I had a paid help, older than me. Auntie Jane now is about 16 years with me. So she's older than me, so I call her Auntie Jane. So she's the owner of the house. I don't know what is in that house. She knows me, I don't know. And then I also had a driver very early, so that when I am working, my thought processes will not be distracted because these people are there and they could pick the children from school. And so my children are cared for as much as possible. I work from Monday to Sunday. The earliest I slept those 2 years, 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m., 2 a.m. And I wake up at 5:30 and take the children to school anyway. The day that I'll sleep early, it's like 11:30, 12. A few days, I'll close the computer altogether when my husband comes down. My husband used to work at the north, and so in a year I'll see him about 3 times, maximum 4 times. 2 days, 3 days, maximum 1 week he's gone back. So I capitalize on his absence from my work. Some of you, I don't know, if your boyfriend doesn't call you one day, you are angry. Angry for what? What at all do you need for him to be calling you every day? Huh? The journey to the top is not about emotions, okay? If you attach too much emotions, you miss it. I'm a nurse, so you've seen young girls, women in the psychiatric ward, this and that, because of disappointment. What kind of disappointment? Reserve some of the heart space for yourself. Ankoye, you move on with your life. That is me, okay? That is me. If you add too much emotions, you are not able to deliver on the mandate that you are given. You are not able to achieve your dreams. So I try to, use his absence to focus on my work and my career. If we were living together, I wouldn't have been where I am today. That is an honest aspect of it. So, these are some of the things I've mentioned already. Okay, so the last one is the one that I said that I closed the computer altogether. 2 days, 3 days, it's not a problem. But when I have something very important to deal with, because I was also working, so maybe you have some students' exam or something. After I've finished my work, and my work is my spousal work, and I'll go back and sit on my computer. I send it by force, and madam, I'm finished with you. Where are the men? The he men, where are you? Give me a wave. Good. I finished with you. And as if you are sleeping, I'll go back and do my work. There's no fight. But when you neglect, that is when the challenges come. Okay, the women here, they know what I'm talking about, so I will not continue. Have time for each other is important. So, at the end, if you are still here and you don't know the technology relevant for the discipline that you are in, there's something wrong. If you are here today, and you are not conversant with the technology relevant to your field, there's something wrong. You have to make efforts to learn the softwares that are coming up, the apps that are coming up, everything. So those in academia, the bibliographic managers, the data analysis tools, etc., etc. Rome was not built in a day. Some of you are too ambitious. Your dream is too big. It's not realistic. Give a dream, a goal that you can achieve. And then after you have achieved that, you give another goal. Then you move on systematically. You develop the experiences thereof. You don't jump. If you jump and you get there, you cannot deliver because you don't have the experience. I started working at the University of Ghana 2001. It is 2022 that I have become a vice chancellor. And if I cannot deliver, there's something wrong with me. Because I started as a senior staff and worked through assistant lecturer, senior lecturer, assistant professor. And so when you are in that space, you can sleep because you know what to do. So please, set goals that are phase 1, phase 2, or that are progressive, okay? I beg you. Some of the young ones, you are too ambitious. Your goal is unachievable. The hope, believing in yourself, that was mentioned, I leave it there. Now, the world today is who you know. I don't know who recommended me to the organizers. Maybe somebody who knew me. I don't know. But the world today, for you to achieve, is your network. Both local, national, and international. Please, your network is who you know. And then I still said from the beginning that you progress in your field. Progressing in your field doesn't mean that you are just one goal, one mind. Embrace change. It means that if you are in a particular situation and you have tried all you can, it is not going well, do not give up. See how you can branch. Maybe there's just a block here, but there's some narrow spaces around it. See how you can branch, not significantly, even if it is significantly. You don't become stuck because of this blockage. Embrace change by looking at this angle and that angle so you can still go up. If you don't embrace change, you become dogmatic, stagnant, obsolete. I don't know which word to use. But above all, you say you are a vice chancellor. So have you stopped learning? No. You have to continue to nurture yourself. You have to continue to nurture yourself. I may add that a lot more if there's still time at the end. And then the other ones, the last one is what you see, if you're not confident, nobody will believe in you. You have to be confident. You have to exhibit that confidence, not pride, okay, not arrogance, okay? But confidence is confidence. Your chest is out, yes. Your voice can be heard, yes. And you are speaking, not over-elaborating, concise. And someone can okay? You are at the table, you're having a discussion. Then your suggestion is off track. What kind of leader is this? You have to be on point, okay? And you have to dress well. The ladies who are here with your arms showing, you are coming to a formal event, a conference. You cover up with some petticoats or something. Look at my front here. They are all well covered. You don't go somewhere with your body showing, your breast low. What is that? Informal, your diagram is fine. But when you are in an environment, first impression is very, very important. So you package yourself, your language is seasoned, okay? You don't talk anyhow. You don't dress anyhow. And then somebody will identify, oh, this lady, if we nominate, so today, when I was coming, one of my deans sent me a picture. He's in Sweden at a program. I've forgotten that I even nominated him. Do you see? So somebody must see something about you and give you the opportunity. And then, all right, so how did I go? How did I go? The reality is that where you are now, it's not your final destination. Okay? Where you are now, no matter where, it's not your final destination. There's opportunity to be for Africa, for the triple bar. There's opportunity, okay? There's opportunity. Don't be content and give up and say, oh, I've arrived. No. So from senior lecturer, I became professor. Now within the nursing and midwifery fraternity, this was history. So along the line, when I was associate professor, I was given this award. What did I do? Okay. Emerging Nurse Researcher for Africa. It was given by the second largest nursing organization, headquarters in Indianapolis in the US, Sigma Theta Tau International. That award was very, very significant for me. That if the whole of Africa, they found me worthy for this award, it was significant. And so when I became Vice Chancellor, the Nursing and Midwifery Association also named, they have annual awards. They named one after me because I broke the glass ceiling. And then in 2023, the Ghana Women's Awards also saw that among the women they awarded, I could be the one that is the ultimate, they call it a legendary woman. I don't know what that means. But you can only become a vice chancellor when you are a professor. And so at the time I became professor, I submitted in 2020. It took about a year before, over a year. Submitted in September, the announcement came in December the following year. Before I was approved finally by the University's Council as a professor. At that time, UHAS has also advertised the vice chancellor position. And so my mentors, some friends, some partners, I discussed with them. And I felt that I was ready. Now, before you become that person, it's a preparation that you do before you become the person. And so when I was in the university, I did a lot of higher education leadership programs. I did some in Germany, Canada, I went to Kenya, Ethiopia, I did some in Ghana, here, there. Because I was interested in higher education leadership, okay? I also admired inaugural lectures. When professors give their inaugural lectures, I feel that, this one I want to do some. And so those things, drove me to that point. At the end, I contested with 2 males, and the University Council felt that I deserved the position, so I was given. Now, you have become Vice Chancellor. It's just maximum 8 years. So you do first 4 years. If you do well and they renew for you, you do another 4 years. Even they give me another 4 years, I will not be 60. I'll still have a year or so and have to retire. So I go back as a professor of nursing. The Vice Chancellor, I told you that before I went to go, I was doing a lot of things. So I'm not a one-job woman. I do a lot of things. Now, after a year or so and a half of ensuring that this is a new institution, a new environment, so I needed to understand my team, because it's not university, it's different. So, and it is a professional, health-oriented, disciplined university. We don't have any humanities program, engineering, we don't have those programs. Health, all our programs are health. So I needed to understand the situation, okay? So I cleared my desk, all my travels, everything, I canceled them and focused. After now, I know who to call when there's a problem. I know who will deliver if I need something urgently. I said, no, I have to go back to start my project again, because the Vice Chancellor work is not a 24/7 work. I still have my weekends, or unless there's something, I still have my nights. So I went back into projects or grants writing. And then now I have a project, almost 1.2 million Canadian dollar grants that we are working on girls or adolescents, reproductive health in teachers, those kind of things. I can talk about it later. And then I also have a 2.75-year grant that we are training nurse leaders for the whole of the African continent. It started this year. The first cohort is ongoing, a 6-month postgraduate certificate program. And we also have some grants with the British Council for Girls in STEM, and others are still under review, and we'll see how it goes. So, somebody will say, so Prof, what are you saying? I'm saying that it is possible, okay? It is possible. It is possible for you if you have the right mindset, if you have the right focus. Don't go and be envy, stop. Just focus on what you want to do. Work with people, create your network, be diligent. Your integrity must be high up there. Because at the end of the day, when I was looking for this vice chancellorship, the people they spoke to, I was even surprised. The people they spoke to, I was even surprised. So at the end of the day, what do people say about you? Who can vouch for you? Who can say, oh, for this lady, I know her, she can deliver. So at the end, the opportunity will not fall on you. You have to be ready for it, and you have to make the effort to look for the opportunity. Okay? Some of you are too shy, like I think my sister, the first one, said that you think that you can't do it. I meet my SRC executives and I say, all of you ladies, men, where are the girls? VC, please, they didn't come up to stand for elections. There's something wrong. Right now, I have a problem. All my deans are males. It's only one dean of students who is a female. All the schools are led by males. When would the next female VC come up at my university? I don't see it happening after me anyway, because I don't have a full professor female yet. Even if I have, your behavior, see, you don't suddenly become a good leader. Your life from the beginning must, when the fish is dry, you cannot mold it. So from today, the young ones, start seeing yourself as people are watching me, let me do the right thing. People are watching, let me say the right thing. People are watching me, let me stand up for the thing I did wrong and be responsible for it. Okay? So I don't see it now. Those who are associate professor, I don't see it as a vice chancellor material now. I don't see it. Okay? So you vote for the woman who has the qualification and ability to deliver. And therefore, if we, from the beginning, we demonstrate those, should I say, behavior or characteristics, when it gets, you won't even talk. People will rather call you to apply. Or they would come to say, we are supporting you to go for this. My mother had 13 of us. I'm the 9th born of my mother. They are all dead, left with 2 of us. Myself, and the one who came directly after me, only 2 alive. I had 3 near-death experiences. So 2 very serious accidents. If you look at my face here, there's a mark at the top of my left eye. It's the mark from one of those accidents. 2, so let me say 4 or 5. 2 of them, so where we used to live, we have to cross a river. So when the river overflows, it banks, you have to cross with a canoe. One of them, the canoe capsized. I don't know how to swim. Even up to today, I don't know how to swim. Fortunately, it wasn't at the middle where we would have lost our lives. The other one, the canoe, the waves were too strong, so it veered off to the south part. Okay, fortunately, along somewhere, a tree had fallen, so the canoe was choked. These are near death, because I would have been gone, okay? But the God factor is the God factor. No matter what you believe in, there's something that is a God factor that you have to carry along with you. So I think that my time is up. I may take, because I'm leaving, if there are a few questions, I can't take it, so that I leave you with the hope that tomorrow I'll meet you somewhere up there. It is a decision you have to make today. And your life, you have to look for extra money, okay? So that you can do that politics for me from today. Some of you, vacation, you are sleeping. Can't you learn how to braid the hair? If you travel and you can braid hair, you make a lot of money. Can't you learn another skill? Dress the bride, decorate, do something, or sell your skills. Me, I don't know how to sell physical things, but I can sell the skills that I have. And that is how I was able to build 2 houses and do a lot of things. I don't want to talk about those ones, but you have to change your mindset from today. Don't wait for that chop money. I don't know what is called chop money, okay? Don't wait for your salary. If your salary delays, feed yourself with the other things that you can do. Some of you can sing. Who said you should sing for free? Some of you have very good oratory. Who said you can't do MC and make money? Huh? Anyway.
I think we can do better. We can do better. It's been very inspiring. Wow. We'll allow for one question because of time. One question. The lady in the brown coat. One question. Okay.
Your name and where you are coming from.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Hello.
My name is Michaelina Inkiasin. I'm a product of Miss Christine. She was my criminal law lecturer in UPSC. Yes, so my question is, for somebody like me, I'm in level 200 now. And as you were saying, we shouldn't just be focusing on one thing. We should also do other things for ourselves. So my question is, aside being a law student, I also took some courses online on digital marketing and graphic designing. And then I reached out to, okay, for public domain sake, I won't mention the person, a counselor, a mentor, and I was like, oh, I'm in law school, my academics are great, by the grace of God, and this is what I want to do. The person immediately told me, no, if you are in law school, leave everything and focus on your books. So in such a situation, the person had the mindset of telling me, don't be looking for money. Don't be interested in money. Don't be money-minded. But it shouldn't just be, because a lot of traditional Ghanaian adults, when you reach out to them as a young person who is learning skills to do something lucrative, it's almost the same, the money mentality. Is that some kind of drift, or in your perspective, are they right to a certain extent? That's my question.
All right, thank you very much. That's why sometimes people see me as controversial. I'm not controversial, but the traditional orientation is not helping a lot of people. So my son is doing his housemanship now. No matter how busy he is as a young doctor, he's doing an online leadership program in one of the universities in the US. With his time, okay? So I wouldn't say that person is wrong, okay? Because that is the person's exposure mindset. That person didn't suffer like me. If I say suffer, if I was talking about the concept of suffering with my life experience, the things I'll tell you, you wonder whether I'm a human being. Okay? When I was going to secondary school, day students, even when we vacate, I had to go hawking, selling dry fish, the dry small fish, soup. At the point when one of my stepbrothers was here in Accra, I come on holidays, I had to go to Makola and go around. You know, those days, lotto paper, they use starch to do it so that the market fishmongers can buy it. I was selling it. I used to hawk with bread. The most annoying aspect is that you are far away, but you walk back. Then they will touch it and say, oh, and you're fresh. At a point, I used to work in a beer bar around the Jowulu area, Cupid. I don't know whether it's still there. And the men, this young girl is trying to survive. Then you want to be touching me. Then I complain. Then the owner will say, you have lost your job. Okay, take your job. Let me go. Life, see, you know your dream. The person has told you, you know that your academic is not suffering. That person is not the mentor that you have to work with. But I wouldn't, number one, say you are doing that because of the money. Okay, I mentioned the money because ultimately we are looking for extra income. Some of the things I did in the past, pro bono, I was doing it for the experience, to learn, to get the so you have done this thing on where you find an organization in that space to do internship attachment. The person may give you 1 cedi, 2 cedi for transport. If the person doesn't give you, manage yourself. The experience that you get from that place, you can't buy it with money. So at the end of the day, if the money is a primary reason for which you are doing the thing you started doing, that nobody knew you didn't have the experience, is wrong. You start doing it to get your quality established, okay? The other thing I want to say is that if somebody is saying that, listen, okay, ask yourself, within the law space, what other things can I do to add value? If the design is your passion, your skill is different, okay? But I am a nurse. I'm a nurse that most of the nurses know me in this country because I have done things within the nursing space, okay? Nursing and Midwifery Council, the Ghana College Association, I've done things. So if you want to be a lawyer and be known as that lawyer, do things within that space to cushion yourself before you branch. I'm saying different things at different times because there are different people here. For some of you, the next thing is part of your discipline. The next thing is part of your discipline. But if it's too far away and part is your passion, your skill, go ahead. But it shouldn't be said that your primary profession that you want to be recognized, you are a book lawyer. You don't have the experience. You get it. So I want to wish you, everybody here, all the best. Okay, I pray that your dreams become a reality. I pray that tomorrow another young lady would look up to you. I also pray that you get the opportunity to mentor others as you grow. Thank you very much.
Wow. Oh, I think we should do better. You know I'll say it, so just do better before I come. Yeah, fantastic. I think in addition to everything, the conclusion here, always remember that the journey to the top is not about emotions. Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you. And I know you have to leave now, so I want to make a little presentation to you just before you leave. I'll call Dr. Anatu Mahama to take from here.
Okay, I think the audience has heard a lot, and I'm just going to say one sentence. That as an academic, I look up to you. Thank you for coming, ma'am.
Please come and support their dream. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Professor, and thank you for engaging. On the original plan, we're supposed to be eating by now, but we're going to take 30 minutes of your time to go and have the breakout workshop. Please, let's take to 30 minutes. If you keep talking, the lunch will still be waiting for you. Okay, lunch is ready, but we're going to have our breakout workshop now, and we do have amazing facilitators for the workshop. So we do have 3 workshops. Can I see by hand those who are interested in the entrepreneur? Now we know what an entrepreneur is, the definition. Can I see by hand those who are interested in the entrepreneurship workshop? Oh, okay, few. And built environment and engineering. Hey, okay, you know what, let's go back to the voice. Entrepreneurship. Built environment and engineering. Hey. Is it because you're hungry? Okay, law. Hey. Wow. Okay, I'm going to introduce the facilitators. And we do have 3. We do have 2 extra breakout rooms. I was just trying to listen to the loudest, which therefore will be the largest group to stay here. Let's try again. Entrepreneurs. Built environment and engineering. Hey. Law, legal. I think the law legal, go to the small room, Okay. Okay, so we have 3 amazing facilitators. Christine, you already know, so I won't introduce again. We do have Odelia Intiamwa Boampong. She'll be facilitating the entrepreneurship group, and she's an award-winning media leader, author, entrepreneur, gender researcher who has worked with top international media brands, trained 64 media houses globally, interviewed African leaders, and now leads the Oxford Africa Women Leadership Institution whilst pursuing a PhD in marketing. So she'll be chairing the entrepreneur discussion. Odelia, it would be good if we can stand so they could see your lovely face. Great. Okay, there she is. Wow. And then we have Surveyor Sadia Musa Saka. Where is she? Please come to the front so that we can see you. Christine, I mean, we all know you, but yes, please do. And Surveyor Sadia Musa Saka is a chartered surveyor and a facilities management professional with over a decade of expertise in estate and project management, who has contributed to national development committees, leads in professional associations, and researches innovative finances for public infrastructure. So, Sadia, you take your group to the room downstairs. So we have 3 different rooms. Yeah, so it looks like the built environment and engineers, they'll go to the smaller room. Is that room 3 upstairs? So built environment engineer, that's you. Okay, yeah. Room 3 upstairs. Law, where's the usher who can guide for law? So law, okay, so law, please follow Christine, who will then follow the usher. And then entrepreneurs, you have this room. So as I said, lunch will be at 1. So if you keep talking, that's fine. We'll be here, we'll eat, and we'll catch up later. So lunch is from 1 to 1:45. Now we're making up for the lost time. So lunch is 1 to 1:45. So entrepreneurs are here. You're here. Yes, you're here. You have the remote yourself.
Okay, so if you're ready. So like I said, I'm an author. This is my latest book. And I remember Prof talking about the fact that if wherever you find yourself, whatever you're doing, you could actually use your strengths to make money. So if you've been in an industry for more than 10 years, you become an expert and you can actually turn that into a business. So my very first question to all of us is, what do you think will be or is the systemic barriers that are preventing women in entrepreneurship from reaching the very top? Anyone wants to have a go at it? Maybe whilst I'm waiting for you to come up with your answers, if there are any entrepreneurs here, anyone who owns a business, you have a microphone in front of you, so. I handed it over to the gentleman. All right, whilst we're getting the microphone to her, I run an organization called the Oxford Africa Women Leadership Institute, where we have created a huge platform